Wholesale flows are one of the most misunderstood automations when it comes to building email automations in Klaviyo. Now, first things first, I hope this angle is actually right. I've got a great chest, but I don't know if it's been cut off. Anyway, my name is Gavin. I run an email and SMS marketing agency. I apologize for that chest comment. And I make these videos really just to help people with their email and SMS marketing. Now, I run a free school community. There has to be a plug. There's a link in the description where I teach people how to both generate revenue through the use of email. It's perfect for e-commerce businesses as well as people who want to start up their own email marketing agencies. Check it out, link in the description. But without any more time wasting, I'm going to show you a live example of how to build a wholesale flow and the key considerations you need to have when it comes to building that out in Klaviyo. Let's get into it. Okay, it's me, Gavin, your favorite YouTuber. So let's kind of go through how we build out a wholesale flow, perhaps the most stimulating topic anyone can think about. So really quickly, the first thing you need to make sure is that you're actually getting wholesale providers, or rather wholesale accounts, passed into Klaviyo, and they are being added to a separate list that triggers not your welcome series. So if we go into list and segments, right, and we go ahead and click create list, call it whatever. I'm assuming you already have this, right? But if you don't, make sure you hit create list and you go into settings, consent, and make sure single opt-in is ticked. Really, really important, okay? So your wholesale list has to be separate from your welcome series, okay? And make sure that you have forms or wherever people or profiles are being added into Klaviyo, they are being added to this wholesale list. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure, assuming this is what you want to do, most of the time when it comes to businesses that I'm working with, they want to exclude their wholesale subscribers from receiving their regular, for example, abandoned carts or welcome series or browse abandons or post purchases. So all you need to do is go into your old flows. Let's assume this was like an abandoned cart, for example, and add the following filter. This is not an abandoned cart. Look at my arms. Let's go. But let's just assume that it is, okay? And you're going to click add profile filters, and you're going to say, if someone is not in your wholesale list, exclude them from that flow, and do that across all of your flows to exclude your wholesale lists, okay, from getting your regular flows. Just sometimes you might not want to do that, but 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you are. So that is our first step. We've set our groundworks. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a wholesale flow in Klaviyo. Now, this is really hard to make a guide on, but I'm going to give you some fundamentals here. I'm just going to call this whatever, the draft flow, and we're going to say trigger is added to list, and we're going to go which list. For some reason, it is not showing up. God, of course, when I'm doing a video, let me just do this. Listen, you're going to look for wholesale list. Assume that this list means wholesale list. Trigger that, and you're going to hit save, confirm and save. I know that the list I just selected is not the wholesale list. For some reason, it's not showing up in Klaviyo, and Klaviyo wants to humiliate me on this video, but let's assume that that's the case, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just interlace a bunch of emails. Now, I don't know what your sales conversation looks like for wholesale, so I'm just going to create dummy emails here, and I need you to take these suggestions and customize them to your business, because everyone's wholesale process is different relative to their business, okay? For example, if you have somebody signing up on a landing page to be a wholesaler to express interest, you're gonna have a totally different series of people as opposed to somebody, for example, that you are manually adding to a list whom is already a wholesaler. So you need to make sure that you customize this flow according to your needs based off of really whatever you end up doing. Really quickly, sorry to interrupt the video. I just wanted to tell you something really cool that we've started doing with Inbox. I've actually created a school community where I teach you anything and everything I know about email and SMS marketing, from really advanced campaign strategies to how to simply set up your Klaviyo account, all the way to building really, really cool automations for the back end of your e-commerce store. Whether you're a business owner trying to learn how to do email marketing or an email marketer trying to learn how to become a better email marketer, there is a link in the description to this school community where I teach you everything I know. Check it out. It's worthwhile. Book a call to have a chat with me to see if you're a right fit for the community. And if you are, I'd love to get you in there. Anyway, sorry for interrupting your video. Let's get back to it. So the fundamental rules though for wholesale are the following. More often than not, you are going to make sure that you are sending plain text emails in wholesale. Wholesale conversations are more B2B focused as opposed to, for example, direct to consumer, where you're using visuals to describe products or benefits. Wholesale is different. You are conveying a different type of information and it is more of a conversation. I like to use plain text emails. So how do we do that? Over here on the left-hand side, you create a template where it says template, you select create text only email. And then you write your messaging, whatever you need, just in here. Hit save, cool. And the other rule, so it's gonna be a plain text email more often than not, convey your messages according to what you need to do within Klaviyo, or rather what the wholesaler needs to do in relation to your business. But the other thing you wanna do is change the sender name according to your wholesale manager's name. Now, that might be the owner. It might be somebody who's like a marketing manager. You just need to make sure that your sender name in these emails is reflective of the person whose job it is to manage the wholesale communications. For example, if I was sending emails from inbox on a regular basis, right? And my emails for my direct to consumer, damn it, there we go, were coming from inbox and the email address was hello@inbox.co.nz, I would want to change that. I would want to change that to Gavin, because wholesalers deserve to have a more of a one-on-one conversation with the rep, right? Because the value of these contracts is significantly higher. They need to seem more personalized from a business to business perspective. And if somebody replies, you want them to reply directly to an address that is being actively managed by the person responsible for wholesale relationships, okay? Now, if you have multiple people who manage multiple wholesale relationships, you will need to, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You will need to either have like a master wholesale account, right? Or you can add CC. So anybody who is like, let's say like you have Gavin at inbox.co.nz, he's one of the wholesale people. You can also add multiple other email addresses for your other wholesale partner reps in this flow, so that when somebody replies, both Gavin gets a response, but anybody who you CC'd also gets a response. So maybe they can pick up the conversation off the back of it. Those are really the two fundamental rules that you need to apply when it comes to building wholesale flows. Plain text emails and making sure that they're coming directly from somebody who is managing the wholesale relationship. Anyway, pretty straightforward. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much depth around the structure of these flows because there's no one rule. There's no one structure that you can typically apply, as opposed to direct to consumer email marketing, and there's a whole free school community that teaches you how to do that in the description. But there's no one rule that you can apply to the structure of these flows. You need to decide how you want to structure these yourselves, but I recommend with any structure that you pursue, you follow the steps that I've outlined here in this video, from both a creating a list, a filtering perspective from the other flows, and making sure that the sender person and the sender email address is reflective of the person who manages your wholesale relationships. If you have any questions, chuck them in the comment section down